Look up from your telescope, take me on this journey home. I don't wanna wait no more.
What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane back again with another All American video. And in this video, we are breaking down season 1, episode 16, the season finale. Let's get into it. Y'all, this finale, I swear, this is one of my favorite episodes to go back and rewatch. It makes me smile, but it also makes me so sad. There's so many dramatic moments in this finale, and it has a beautiful cliffhanger at the end. So, shout out to the All American team for creating such amazing stories. I've had to at least watch season 1 10 times, right? Like rewatched it. And I swear every time I rewatch, I still get like new bits of information. This is the first time I've rewatched it since seeing all of season 3. So yeah, I definitely have a greater perspective and keying in on other things. Specifically when you have questions in the current season or most recent season, it's really cool to go back and rewatch to see if there's any answers seeded or any Easter eggs seeded in previous seasons that could give you some kind of indication of what the answers to your questions are, or if the answers are going to be coming up in the next coming season. So All American will be returning in season 4 on October 25th, and I of course am going to continue with these breakdowns. I'm going into season 2 right after this, so I will not stop the All American content. We're going to be posting new All American videos every day with these breakdowns, as well as some fun things too, so stay tuned. And if you're not already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and join the tribe. Post a comment because I'm in the comment section responding to you, keeping the conversation going, and we just keeping the all-American vibes flowing. All right, so this episode starts off with Spencer working out, feeling the pressure of going up against Crenshaw, and that's a running theme for him in this episode. And I thought that it was really dope that they actually decided to have this conversation, because Spencer, while, transferring to Beverly Hills to give himself a better chance of making it to the pros ultimately, he is someone who is still very grounded in his community, very supportive of his community, and is proud to be from Crenshaw. So to me, it was really dope that they took the time and gave the nuance of actually having a conversation of what's going on in this star athlete's mind when he no longer is playing and representing a community that he comes from and loves dearly, but he's playing on the opposing side in one of the most important games that will affect this high school that he came from. What does that look like? And for Spencer, it looks like guilt. It looks like a little bit of shame for a little bit, because he doesn't want to take this thing that could become such a monumental, iconic thing in these players' former teammates' lives, for his community's lives. He doesn't want to take that away from them, but he knows that he will, because he knows that he needs to win and he wants to win. And he really struggled with the idea of wanting something great for his community, but then also wanting something great like the state championship win for himself. And I really love like how they allowed him to process his feelings. At the start, we're getting flashbacks as he's working out, and he's going really, really hard with that. Throughout the episode, there's like a really pivotal conversation with Layla where he says that she couldn't possibly understand about him being in a position to take something so important away from a community that he loves. And she makes a point of like, maybe you need to find somebody whose perfect multi-million dollar life doesn't invalidate yours completely. And I just thought like, yo, they are having big people, big adult, like put your big panties on conversations right now, and it was just stressing me out, because I'm like, yo, both of them have a freaking point, bruh. And this is like, for me, even though that conversation and that argument was a little tense, that to me is the jewels and like a great example of what I really enjoyed about Spencer and Layla's relationship. Not that I wanted them to fight, but they have very real conversations that pushed each other outside of their comfort zone, outside of their mindsets, and really made them both better and made them think deeply, like really made them think deeply. And I'm just like, oh, we love to see it. We love to see a mature debate, and we love to see a reconciliation. We love, like, I wish, y'all. I really wish I was having more mature conversations like this when I was younger. If you haven't checked it out, you should definitely join one of my rewatches. We are wrapping up my All-American rewatches this Saturday, where we'll be finishing season 3. But literally last Saturday, I was talking about a couple of romantic experiences that I had in high school and just how I related to the show with certain things that happened to me. And like, if I had the emotional IQ or even just the wherewithal for this mature conversation or like articulation of exactly how you feel and think, like Spencer and Layla did in this moment. When I was in high school, some things might have been shaking out a little bit differently. So I really, really, really loved it. Like, while that was a very stressful situation, I think that the conversation was dope for them to have. And I also, specifically within that argument, I like that it started by Layla, like, basically making a very, very important point that she wants Spencer to stop trying to absorb the world's problems as his own. And he took offense to that, basically, like, oh, I'm getting in trouble for caring. And it's like, you're not getting in trouble for that, but you can't do some of these things, you can't do nothing about, bro. Like, it's not on you. Stop trying to make it seem like it's on you. Sometimes things are effed up and they're just effed up. That's it. Like, you can't fix it for everyone. And yo, when she says that, it hits different now after watching season 3, because Spencer still has not learned that, and people have told him time and time and time again that you cannot fix the world's problems. You cannot save everybody. You cannot intervene all the time. Like, you just cannot. And while you can feel a way, maybe you need to focus on sitting with your feelings, processing your feelings, allowing yourself to feel it, and then release, because all you can do is what you can do. And that's what I was getting from Layla there, but the conversation kind of went left because he decides to pull up her daggone money and privilege, which is also a point, right? Like, she don't understand how it feels and all of that. Needless to say, I love that argument or debate or whatever they want to call it, because it wasn't that bad, but it was definitely tense. Now, going back to the start of the episode, y'all, they tried Laura. They have been trying Laura this whole entire time. I ain't even gonna hold you. Shout out to Tristan Cotton, because in the last episode breakdown comments they posted, I know y'all might think differently, but I honestly think Mrs. Baker was doing too much with the whole Billy cheating on her 20 years ago thing. I don't know what y'all think. And we actually jumped down in the comment section of this or the thread, and everyone's kind of going back and forth and talking about it. I totally understood what you're saying about it being too much. So first of all, from what I understand, it was not 20 years ago. It was like 8 or 9. Just, you gotta think about how old Dillon is and when Corey left, because he left around that same time, but I'm not really sure about the exact timing of when he left after he found out. It's around 8 or 9 years ago, not 20, right? And this is why you should be subscribed and going in the comment section, because we continue the conversation in the comments, as you can see. But also, Laura really said that she felt more betrayed because he ran to Grace, right? And honestly, Grace represented home for him and she did not. That's a really hard hit to take. She's a white woman. Grace is black. That's also something that you got to think about. Like, maybe that's something that's also playing in her psyche as well. Like, if he really ever wanted her, if this is real. Like, there's a lot of things that are like being brought up emotionally for her. So I can understand why she definitely felt betrayed. But I think she moves still with love, even in this follow-up episode. So in episode 16, Billy is still in the house, right? At the start of the episode. Spencer's still in the house. They got Laura at the start of this episode going to Grace's house to help Coop. Like, they've been playing with Laura for so long. There is no way I would be in this woman's house trying to keep it cute and cordial and just having a back burner my feelings. Like, Laura, shout out to you. You're a real one, because she still shows up and shows out for Coop in this episode. She still does what she has to do, even though she is struggling with such emotional turmoil. Like I said, I understood where this person was coming from and saying it seemed like it was doing too much because it was so long ago, but I also feel like she wasn't doing a lot. And someone said that in the comment section. Someone was like, some other people would have did more, and I believe that, because I know I would have been cut up by now. There might have been some tire slash. It would have been some craziness, some real craziness. But I just wanted to make that note, because I think it's important as we continue to track Laura through this series. So when we got to season 3, I wasn't like questioning her, but when the Black Lives Matter conversation came up, I was just like, all right, Laura, what you finna do? And it's like, she's already told us what she was gonna do. In seasons 1 and 2, she has never wavered in showing up for these kids and showing up as a stand-up woman. Shout out to Laura Baker, y'all. We also get the scenes in this episode of Olivia cooking with Asher's daddy at Asher's daddy's house, and they keep keying and all that. And this is all the whole making Asher and Olivia thing. I really just can't. I didn't really understand how Olivia was moving, because she apologized, or she said that she was wrong for going off on Layla in the last episode. But then she also told her that being her best friend shouldn't be this hard. But she was the one that was wrong. And then prior to that, she knew that like she had showed up for Layla because of the break-in. So I really didn't understand what Olivia was doing in this episode. Like, she was all over the place. And I know that they were making her and Asher thing. I just never, that never really stuck with me. Like, I never really could ship them because I didn't understand how did we go from her trying to save this boy and him shaming her to this. Like, I can't. And then ultimately, like, because Olivia, we don't really get that much from her in this episode. And then ultimately, she winds up going to Layla's house. Then I'm just like, well, Olivia, how did you arrive here? Do you want to be this girlfriend? Do you not want to be this girlfriend? Now that you need somebody to talk to, you want to go and talk to her? What the hell is actually going on with this? Now, what I will say is, aside from all the drama that's happening, Spencer and his dad are definitely in a better place. We see Spencer, his dad, and Dillon hanging out, kikiing, having a good time together, getting to know each other, which at the top of the episode is really a setup for Corey to show up for Spencer at the game. Like, after Spencer tackles Chris and puts him out the game, like, really hurts him pretty badly, but it was a clean hit. Spencer is completely taken out of it, so it's Corey that actually has a conversation with Spencer, tells him that he did show up for his first game, tells him that he deserves this, and tells him to go back to playing like he played when he was a child, and that really helps Spencer get his head back in the game. Also, I think it's something that's really cool to note is that when they first started the game, one of the things that also helped Spencer get into the game was that when he came out, it was cheers from both Beverly Hills side and Crenshaw side. So it's like, sir, ain't nobody stunting you and who you play for. They still support you. They still know that you're about this Crenshaw life. Like, put some more respect on their name. It's not even about who you play for. It's about who you represent, who you love, and where your home is. Now, the hit happens with Chris, and I think that it's really important now to note that, just because in the previous episode, we got a huge setup for how close Chris and Spencer were, because Chris was riding for Spencer in episode 15. When Jordan came there and was on his BS, Chris was right there supporting Spencer. Even with this episode, Spencer goes to the pep rally and Chris is like, you cannot be here right now. Like, what is you doing? And he's diffusing the situation between Cam and Spencer while still trying to be like, yo, let us have this. You got this. I'll talk with you at the end. So then to see Spencer actually tackle Chris and this happen, it's like, oh, that's so unfortunate. However, that's something that can be a part of the game. Ultimately, we all know that Beverly Hills wins after Spencer is refreshed by his dad, comes back and, you know, plays like he ain't never played before. And at the very end, the first thing that I noticed is that Billy had nobody to congratulate him, and it was on him. We see Laura congratulating Jordan. We see Spencer looking to his mom and Layla, and then looking to his dad, and then Billy is sitting there looking doofy. I can't. But it's literally on him. But before I do that, actually, we get the scene during the game of Coop setting up Tyrone, and thank God Miss Baker's there, because Coop, you would never be able to pull this off by yourself. You gonna get yourself killed, sis. You was really gonna get yourself killed, and I'd have been pissed at you for it, okay? That's it, that's all. At the end of the game, it's very interesting, the conversations that are had. Like, Jordan goes up to Billy and asks him if the sacrificing of his family was worth it, and he's referencing, like, illegally recruiting Spencer and then changing Jordan's drug test. What I don't understand is, like, I get that Jordan is pissed about him cheating on his mom, but when Jordan throws into Billy's face the stuff that he has done illegally or wrongfully for Jordan, I'm just like, are you dumb? Like, are you dumb? Like, you literally failed a drug test. That's something that could follow you not only through high school but through college. You could not play collegiate football, fool, if that would have gotten to the NCAA. But you want to be coming for this man for sacrificing and putting his neck out on the line for you? Like, if you're gonna be mad at what he did, be mad at what he did, but stop lumping all this stuff in. And then Jordan does that again in season 3, and I'm just like, yes, he should not have done it. But if he wouldn't have done it, how worse off would your life be? Literally, you are the walking example of somebody choosing to risk it all for you at any given point so that you can live this cushy ass life and have your little raggedy ass zigzag part in your hair and walk around like Rico Suave doing a bunch of foolishness. Like, Jordan, sit down and shut up, because I can't. I really just can't. And yes, he should not have illegally recruited Spencer, but he did that because Grace asked him to, not necessarily because he needed Spencer, even though it actually wound up working out in that case anyway. But we ultimately find out that he did it because of Grace. So, like, again, sit down and shut up. I can't. When is Simone coming? Because I can't. Y'all, I really don't like Jordan without Simone. I really don't. And I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all that, but I don't. Billy, under the pressure of that conversation, well, not actually, because he already had wrote the letter before Jordan came in to say it, but he decided to resign. I guess standing on that dang on football field alone, it should have just started raining so he could be crying. That makes him decide to resign so that he can go back to himself or whatever. Sir, most foolish thing you ever did, but okay. And then before we wrap up the actual episode, we see Billy moving back in with his dad. We see Spencer coming back to Crenshaw. Layla's there and they're about to talk, but then Corey comes in and they want to celebrate as a family. And this made me feel so bad for Layla because she doesn't have that. And all I could think about in the moment was like, girl, why didn't you stay? Like, Grace loves you. Y'all kiki, you know, she has already said that. His dad wants to get to know you. Dillon loves you. Like, girl, why didn't you just stay there? But then she goes home and trashes her house because she's so lonely. And I really feel for Layla and like what she's had to endure on her own. It really sucks. And thank God Olivia showed up, because I think that provided a little bit of peace and perspective for her in the moment, that she's not actually alone no matter how bad she feels alone. Now, the major cliffhanger that we get by the end of the episode is Corey asking if Dillon was his son, and then also Corey asking Spencer to come and play for him because he is now the new coach of South Crenshaw. Shall we love to see it? Come on, action pack. Come on, drama filled episode. Yo, that's my breakdown. That's my breakdown for episode 16 from season 1. It's your girl Erica Behling, coming to you with new All American videos every day. If you haven't already, go ahead and join the tribe by hitting subscribe. Come on, you love this video. Go ahead, hit like and hit subscribe. I know you waited all the way to the end of this video to make sure that I wasn't BSing and that I was giving some good stuff, and I did. So go ahead and give me that subscribe. You know you wanna. It's your girl E. I'm going to see you in my next amazing All American video. If you missed any, check out my All About All American playlist right here. Bye.